Good morning, dear students. Welcome back again. Today, we have a writing lesson. Today's lesson, we are going to learn how to write a fiction. For this lesson, you need your reader's and writer's notebook, your copybook and a pencil, and a sharpener. Our objectives for today are familiarize with the key features of fiction and to write your own fictional story. This week, you will write a fiction about what it would be like to be a raisin farmer. What does fiction mean? Fiction describes made-up events that build up to a climax. Remember, climax is the most exciting part of a story. It also includes characters and a setting. Remember not to confuse yourselves between fiction and non-fiction. Non-fictions are stories that are true. These books tell about real things, people, events, and places. While fictions are stories that are not true. These books tell a story that has been made up by the author. Let's have a look at the key features of fiction. It tells an imagined story. It includes characters. It includes a setting. It follows a sequence of events that builds up to climax. Fiction is made up of different events or things that happen. The order of events in a fiction is called sequence. The events or plot in a story build up to the climax or the most exciting moment. Fiction also has characters and a setting. Now let's read an example of fiction that describes a day in the life of a raisin farmer. Please go to page 180 of your Reader's and Writer's Notebook. Are you ready? Let's read. Lessons learned on the raisin farm. Last week we got some new workers on the raisin farm. But these new workers did not know how to do everything correctly. Out in the field, I found paper trays with grapes that weren't ripe enough to become raisins. I couldn't put these grapes back on the vine. Other trays had the right grapes, but these trays didn't have enough grapes on them. I gathered the new workers together. I stood on a crate and spoke to them. I explained that some things were being done incorrectly. I showed them how to choose only ripe grapes from the vine, and I showed them how many grapes could fit on a tray. They promised to do better. It was good that I talked to the new workers. The next day, I found just the right amount of best grapes on all the paper trays in the field. Now, shall we try to answer the questions? Question number 1. Read the story. The setting is when and where a story takes place. What is the setting in the story? Where do you think the story takes place? Yes, very good. On a raisin farm. Let's write the answer. The setting is a raisin farm. Remember to pause the video while writing your answer. Number 2. Why does the narrator talk to the new workers? What happens the next day? Do you remember what happened in the story? Can you recall the sequence of the events that took place? Pause the video and think for a moment. Now let's have a look at the answer and see if you are right. The narrator talks to the new workers because they are doing mistakes in choosing and putting the right amount of grapes on the paper trays. The next day, the workers picked the correct grapes and put the right amount on each paper tray. Don't forget to pause the video while you write the answers. It's time to practice. Use your copybook in writing your own fictional story. After that, you rewrite your final story on your Readers and Writers notebook, page number 184. Let's have a look at the writer's checklist before you begin writing. Remember, you should write an imaginative story that builds the plot to a climax. Include details about the characters and setting. Use past, present, and future tense verbs correctly. Are you ready to write your own fiction? Imagine you are a raisin farmer. You will need to think of a plot or events that build up to a climax. Think about what you might do during the day and what problems you might face. Let's have a look at this example of a sequence chart. You can use this as a guide to fill the chart on page 184 of your Readers and Writers notebook. Think of characters, setting, and sequence of events. You will then use this chart to write your own fictional story. Enjoy writing. You can do this. That's all for today. See you later.